just a public statement. But please keep in mind, during public comment, you can say what you want to say, and Mr. Edelman does not have the ability to cross-examine.
So, Mr. Spagman, with all that in mind, what is your preference for tonight?
I would make my statement concise to the effort for the trail system that we've worked on with our easements, which could be put into evidence if need be.
So, if I understand you correctly, based upon the comments you've made to date, I think your concern is the equine crossing and the ability, I guess, to cross at the intersection and continue to use portions of the Crebilly site for riding purposes. Is that right?
Yes, for equine and bridle trails, yes. At this moment would be concise to that. Or I could do that later on, but I do have easement.
Mr. Edelman?
I still don't understand what testimony he's going to be given. So I object on the basis that it's not evidentiary. It's just simply a statement on his preference. I don't think that should be admitted at this point in the case. It's not evidence.
Mr. Spagman, what is it you intend to testify to? What is the extent of your use, or what easements are you referring to?
Sure. The Spackman family has done tremendous work with the county, township, and state to put easements on portions of the property for trails, equine, and future use of the battlefield areas. And we would just like that to be brought into consideration for the development of the Crebilly property for that side. So we have a cohesiveness between the different properties and functionality for the battlefield story. And I can do that in the other side as well. I just wanted to get that across. Or we do have easements in writing with the state that would show our efforts already to date.
As I said, it doesn't make any difference to me. I don't know what the board's preference is. As I recall, this aspect of the use was part of the Planning Commission's recommendation, so it's certainly not a surprise to the applicant. It's been discussed, but whatever the board.
Well, we can do it comments.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Mr. Spagman.
I'm sorry. We can do it during the comment period then.
Okay. Mr. Karakoff, do you have any case to put on for Brandywine and Thornbury HOA?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Mr. McFalls, any case for the Westminster Presbyterian?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Mr. Hurst, any case for Quarry Swimming Association?
No, thank you.
Pretty Pinto, anything for Radley Run 3 HOA?
No, thank you.
I don't believe Mr. Dahl is on anymore. He can correct me if I'm wrong, so I'm going to skip over him. I believe the next ones that are here is Edwin and Lagita Boyer. Any case for tonight?
They're still on.
No case.
Thank you. Down to Jennifer Kramer. Any presentation or case tonight?
No, thank you.
Carol Weller, do you have anything you'd like to present tonight?
Yes, I did submit some videos of the Radley Run upstream of Crebilly Farm, 1/8 of a mile on my property. But I'm not sure if I should, present that tonight or present that as a final statement.
So we did receive that. If you want them to be considered by the board as evidence, now would be the time to try to do so, subject to any objection from Mr. Edelman. If you submit them during public comment, they won't be marked as exhibits for consideration. So it's a little different.
Okay, all right. I mean, I can present it now if that would be all right with Mr. Edelman.
I I've reviewed the exhibits, I would have to object to them because I don't know what their relevance are or foundation is with respect to what they're supposed to represent and what their conclusions are based upon. And Ms. Weller, I'm sure you're not a stormwater expert, so I wouldn't have the ability to cross-examine you with respect to the conclusions that you may have reached with respect to your exhibits. So I would object to them before they're shown, because once they're shown, you can't undo them. But that's my objection, and I'll leave it to Mr. McKenna and the board to make a decision.
And would I be able to show them just as a final comment?
Yes, you could certainly do that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that'll work. Thank you so much.
Bear with me for one moment. Mr. Worth, anything, any case tonight?
Yes, I would like to make a statement. Try to keep it brief.
All right, so before you do then, given Mr. Edelman's request for an offer of proof, can you tell us, without going into the details, what it is you'd like to make a statement about or testify to?
Regarding the effect that the development would have upon the community.
It's a pretty broad offer of proof. Is there a specific topic, sir, that I'd be able to cross-examine you with respect to the testimony? Is it traffic or stormwater?
Certainly traffic, excess density of houses, forever beautiful. May I read it to you?
I'm going to object because I believe it's a public comment and not an evidentiary matter. Again, my objection is going to be the same throughout this. As Mr. Dahl had said, I don't object to public comment, so if that's what it is, that would go later. But if it's with respect to trying to put on evidence, I'd have to be able to cross-examine you on it. And if you don't have any expertise on those matters, then I have to object to it before it's said.
I understand, so I'll delay on this. Perhaps at another time I can make this statement.
That's fine. You would certainly be given that opportunity at public comment and to make whatever statement it is you'd like to make, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Linda Miller, do you have any case tonight?
No, I do not.
Ellen Steele?
No, thank you. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Simkovich, do you have any case to present tonight?
No additional evidence to be presented, thank you.
Fenton Mejia, do you have any case for tonight?
No, I'll wait till public comment.
Thank you. Dr. Wright or Mr. Vosberg, do you have any case to make tonight?
No, thank you.
Mr. Hurst or Suzanne Kruger, any case for this evening?
No case, thank you.
Thomas Martin or Renee Rockwood, anything to present evidentiary for tonight?
No evidence for tonight, thank you.
Myron or Sharon Grubal, any case for tonight?
We have no case, no evidence to present tonight.
Thank you. And I don't believe Mr. Teal is on. So, of the parties that were here tonight, I believe I've gone through everyone. So we have 20 more minutes, roughly. I know Mr. Edelman has rebuttal. Does the board want to begin with Mr. Edelman's rebuttal at this point, or do we want to wait until next month?
How long is your rebuttal, Greg?
It's going to take much more than 20 minutes.
All right, let's wait till the next time and start with that, if the board is agreed to that.
Greg, how many witnesses do you have in rebuttal?
I have two witnesses in rebuttal. The first witness, Mr. Madden, should take approximately 30 minutes, and the second witness, Ms. Klein, should take approximately 20 minutes. That's just on my rebuttal direct. obviously they'd be subject to continued cross on the rebuttal testimony.
Right. So I guess in theory, Pat, there's a chance we could reach public comment, but it's kind of an outside chance.
I'm going to try to make it quick.
And I appreciate that. Everybody does.
But as far as the planning commissions, I've looked at the exhibits because Greg was courteous enough to provide them in advance. Obviously, I don't think that I'm going to have any questions of his redirect or rebuttal.
Okay.
I don't believe I'll have any questions. I don't think I'm going to extend the hearing by any big amount if I have a couple questions.
Thank you,
Yes,
Kristen.
if I'm right, I think it's about, 8:40 right now?
That's correct.
And that gives us 20 minutes, and Greg's already spoken, it sounds more like an hour. I think that speaks for itself. If I could make one suggestion, and even though I'm sure all the legal counsel here, including yourself, Pat, probably tired of saying it, I think it for everybody, again, just to understand, for those who are now concerned as to whether now that they did not have a case, or however they put it, or had no evidence, can you explain the public comment, what it means, and how they should prepare for it? Because we're going to be starting public comment presumably at some point, either the next meeting or the meeting after that.
Sure, it will run the same way, I would presume, as we did with Crebilly 1. So at the conclusion of all the evidence and the admission probably of the exhibits, will give the public the right to speak essentially their mind on any aspect of the application. The last time we did it, I think we gave them roughly 4 minutes or so to do so. I'll defer to the board. We can discuss that offline before the next hearing, just to make sure that way that everyone gets an opportunity to be heard. And we would likely, we may even be able to conclude all public comment at the May meeting date then, depending upon how long it would take for Greg to get through his rebuttal. I will still work to have a June hearing date in the event that we run out of time and need to come back. I'd like to at least reserve the date in case we need it. And then at that point, after conclusion of public comment, certainly any of the parties can make a closing statement. I don't think we need them, but you have the right to do so. And then as before, we would ask any of the parties who wish to submit findings of fact and conclusions of law, and we'll discuss a period of time to do so.
There may be some
I have one question. Go ahead.
Carol, let me just finish. Thanks. Pat, again, for the public, for them, since people have said, okay, I don't have a case, I don't have evidence to present, but I'll they'll make their presentation or their comments during public comment. Does it, because it comes under public comment, does it have less weight in any way, shape, or form than had they put it forward as evidence?
It's not evidence. Public comment is just that. It's comment. So yes, there's a different standard, and I would much rather speak to you about that offline than to do so in front of everyone. But yes, there is a difference between under oath testimony and public comment.
Okay, appreciate it.
Sure. Yeah, Carol, I think you had a question.
I have two. Number one, there are some individuals that we kind of inferred it might be better to do public comment. So I would ask that we be respectful for, say, if something's more than 4 minutes for those individuals that might have had something like the video. I don't know how long it is, but maybe it's 5 minutes. So I think we should be respectful to that. And then I had the same question Dick did. I would like clarification on the difference of what public comment can be used as the board in its decisions versus the testimony. In other words, can we use that public comment in our decision?
Right, and as I said, I'd much rather speak with the board about that in exec session offline, if that's all right.
That's fine.
Well, I think the parties deserve an answer.
So it's not evidence, Carol. So it's not to be afforded any weight that you would give to evidence. It is the right of the public to make a comment. they have the right to be heard. But as non-evidence, it's technically not supposed to factor in the decision-making of the board. Is there anything further for tonight, or can we move to continue the hearing?
Continue the hearing.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude the hearing for tonight. It will be continued until 7 p.m. on May 26th. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Everybody stay safe.
You too.
Thanks.
Thank you.